there we are. And welcome to HashiCorp Live. Here we go again, getting into Consul. How are you doing, Cole?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Doing good. Had some hiccups this morning but they're all solved. So we're good for part 9.
Yeah, we haven't done this in a while, right? We stopped because we were busy. And it was really hard to get on. It was really hard to get streaming when we were in transit. But now we're back, and we're back with part 9 now, as you mentioned before. For those who are just tuning in and who have never tuned in before, this is Getting into Consul. It's a series on HashiCorp Live. We will be reposting this onto YouTube. So if you miss a link or you want to replay parts of this, you're welcome to go to YouTube. We have a playlist. I'll drop a link into the chat. If you missed any of the other parts, the premise of this is that Cole wanted to learn Consul. And so we decided we would learn on Twitch because why not? And in the previous part, I don't even remember what we did. So do you want to do the recap or do you want me to do the recap?
Let's see here. I actually have that all in my notes here. So in the last one, we took a look at some of the configuration entries that we can pass to Consul around the service resolver, service splitter, and service router. So this whole idea, we have our API version 1. We want to add a version 2, but we don't want to get rid of it just in case version 2 has breaking changes, or maybe we just want to beta test it some. And using the service resolver, splitter, and router to portion off some of that traffic to version 2 and test it out and see how we can do that with Consul. And learning all of the way to speak to Consul, get it to do that, and setting it up and getting it up and running.
Okay. All right. Sorry, 1 second. Too much typing going on. Too much typing. So that was the last part. We finally got mesh. It was very exciting. Cole, were you excited?
Yeah. It was nice to see something very practical that pretty much everyone will do at some point when testing out a new version, and how we can use that with Consul. So
yeah. All right. So today we're going to be talking about something that I hear a lot about. I get a lot of questions about it. I think there are a lot of misnomers to it too, I guess. Hello to those in chat. There are a lot of misnomers to it as well, and it is metrics. It was not originally, we were like, we're going to do metrics and observability, because observability, the telemetry associated with that is usually distributed tracing. And then we talked it over, and I think it was just too much of a rabbit hole. I think we're going to have enough problems trying to get the metrics part running, and I think we're going to have enough trouble trying to work on something that Cole also has not worked on before, which is Prometheus. So, Cole, tell us a little bit about what you know about collecting system metrics and metric servers and just generally collecting information about systems.
In my full stack days, it was, hey, let's set up CloudWatch on AWS and just throw them all in there and be good enough to go through those logs and look through them. But in terms of setting up something more advanced and trying to add more observability, that's not something that I ever got quite that far into. So, and especially not with Prometheus. Long story short, Barry knows what Prometheus is, and I do not.
I am Barry, for those who are.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Okay,
yeah.
We had to clarify that every time. All right, so the first thing we're going to do, and really the problem we're trying to solve, I went in reverse, and I said we're going to do a technology, but I'm doing this in the first couple of minutes just so people understand what we're doing. But let's actually get back to the core of the problem. The core of the problem is that metrics in systems is just really hard. It's a challenging end-to-end solution, and there's not really an end-to-end solution, right? So when we talk about metrics, we talk about what's happening in your system. Are services making requests to each other? Is a server using certain resources? It's answering the question, what is happening in my system? And it's really difficult to collect information and get visibility about that. So traditionally, what happens with metrics is that you usually have an agent running, and that agent integrates with applications or Linux subprocesses and collects information, right? And then it forwards it to a metrics server. It aggregates it somewhere. Is it cat?
If I have to.
Okay. It aggregates it if you feel like it, right? You can aggregate it and use that information and collect it, use that for dashboards, other information, and action, right? So you collect the telemetry and then you have action upon it. Collecting the telemetry through an agent works to a certain degree, but whenever you get to a company or you get to a system and you start deploying like tens, if not, quite a number, usually tens, on the order of tens of agents onto a machine, you start to think, is this really what life is about? Do we run this many agents on a machine that all takes up resources? You don't know these things, right? So you don't necessarily think about that either until you get to this problem where now you have a bunch of agents on your machine that are not necessarily metrics related, collecting, other information or doing things and taking up resources. So this is more important, I think, in container space. So in container space, you don't really have the luxury. I mean, you could, but you don't really have the luxury of just deploying agents everywhere. Contrary to popular thought, you can't run that many sidecars. You got a service mesh sidecar. Why are you adding another 3 or 4 different sidecars for other things? And the answer is, well, maybe you need that information somehow. So you need some way of collecting metrics, of collecting numbers, right? Or the things that are going on, the quantities that are happening. So here we are with the service mesh, right? It's yet another agent. We're going to acknowledge this right off the bat, this controversial statement. Yes, the sidecar Envoy in service mesh is yet another agent, but it has a very useful feature as part of it, or a very useful capability as part of Envoy Proxy in general, and that is exposing metrics. So today, what we're going to do is retrieve metrics from Envoy Proxy, and we're going to send them to Prometheus, and we're going to take a look at them in Prometheus. Cole, you mentioned you're not familiar with Prometheus, and so I guess we should probably go through a quick introduction of the tool. Is that fair?
Sounds good. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Prometheus is a metrics server. So what it's doing is collecting information from endpoints. The difference between Prometheus and a number of other metrics servers, though, Prometheus scrapes endpoints, right? Most metrics agents, or at least the agents that I've worked with, push metrics to a server somewhere, right? Versus, let's say, something like Prometheus scrapes it. So the server looks for an endpoint and then scrapes the metrics that it wants or that it needs from a certain endpoint. Makes it a little bit simpler, right? You don't have to deploy agents everywhere. You just need to export the metrics. So for the most part, what Envoy does, and this is actually a truth, like we can play 2 truths and a lie today. We should probably play that at the end, Cole, just to explain a few things. But 2 truths and a lie. The first truth, which I'll tell you, and then we'll come back later and then I'll quiz you. The first truth is that Envoy does make it easier to surface certain metrics to Prometheus. So it does export things like what requests are coming in, potentially what their error codes are. How long does it take to reach, between certain services? So you do get some of that information, and we'll be able to do that. We'll at least be able to see it, aggregate that information, and put it in Prometheus. Cool.
Yeah. No, that sounds good.
Okay. All right.
So there's the first one.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. We're going to pretty much install Prometheus today. That may take some time. We'll see how it goes. We're going to view some of the we're going to turn on metrics in the service mesh because I don't believe we configured it in the service mesh. We just sort of said we're going to deploy Envoy Proxy and then turn on the mesh, and that was it. We never actually turned on additional. Yeah.
Yeah. So just for boiling this egg down. I don't know. That's what came to my mind. For the logging thing, the reason why we're going to go towards Prometheus here is because the beauty of it is it's not going to require another sidecar, and therefore we won't add to the overall load on the system and any more latency. It just sort of works well since we've already got one through Envoy. And this way we can just sort of grab metrics from it as opposed to adding something else to it.
Okay.
You didn't hear what I said. It's cool.
No, I did not. Sorry. I'm like in chat. I'm like back and forth. We're this is the first of the year. This is the first of the year. We have some leeway right now.
Yeah. And I was just summarizing what you were saying. We're using it because it's overall lighter weight because we don't need another sidecar. So
yeah, we don't really want that right now. Too much. We're on virtual machines, by the way. So if you have not tuned into this series, we are on virtual machines. We are not using containers. So a lot of the things we're doing, we would rather just not install another binary. But here we are. We're going to install another binary called Prometheus. Yeah. All right. So let's just do step 1, right? Which is install Prometheus. So Cole, can you explain how we've set this up in this part? Usually we try to self-contain each part. If you have not followed along and you would like some reference, we have a repository. I'll post that into the chat and the description. Check out the repository. We separate it by parts. And this time around, we have some setup. So it's been added under, I guess, part 9, I think, right?
Yeah, part 9 branch is there, but it's not on the README just yet. But basically, our starting point for today is if you were to take that repo and follow all the steps, you get it all set up. And the only thing we've added beyond that is we've added another server, just a plain EC2 instance with nothing on it in our private subnets. And it's going to serve as the metrics server that is going to collect all of the logs and metrics from Consul.
Okay. Shall you share your screen? And we shall.
Yeah.
Okay. Oops. No.
I mean, that's as good as it gets. Yeah.
We're a little slow today.
Yeah, we've got all up. These are the README is what you should follow, but you can ignore all this stuff. These are just, we needed to pin the Consul version for today. But the only thing that's new is just adding in this metric server, the related security group, and just going ahead and putting a placeholder for the user data script that'll eventually run. Though we will probably do this manually because that's how we've been doing it first. So, yeah.
All right. So step 1, install Prometheus because there's nothing on it.
First up, I should probably get into the metric server, which would be good. So let me go ahead and hop into it. Oh, wait, I'm already there. Nice. Okay, so.
Woohoo. Okay.
Did I go into the right one? Oh, whoops. Whoops. Ignore that.
I am ignoring. Right. We have a couple of virtual machines and we don't label them. So just FYI, if you see us like going into one thing and we're like, what?
I was gonna go rename all the tabs here, but unfortunately, iTerm here just resets the tab every time you switch, and for some reason, it and 1Password decided to share the same shortcut. So anyhow, too much information. We are into the metrics server, so that's what we are. We have hopped from our local host to the Bastion into the metrics server, so now we're ready to install Prometheus, and I have no idea how to do that.
All right. Okay. So step 1, I'm going to send a link because it has installation instructions for Prometheus.
Awesome.
I'm going to send that to you so you can retrieve that information.
Gotcha.
Okay. So Prometheus, fortunately, you can pretty much install in a couple different ways. In this script, I install by curl. You could I believe it is in the repository in apt, but I'm not really sure either. So definitely someone can double check that. But basically it's a binary. That's really all it is. I recommend you can pull the installation here. The Prometheus version, I pinned to 226.0. I don't know if there's anything like anything changing. I don't really remember what's the most recent Prometheus version either. But it's a binary. So
do they have, can we see if they have what's their main like website here?
Prometheus.io/download.
Let's see here.
Yeah. Boop.
Okay, so
232.1.
232.1.
Yeah.
So I don't see anything on here about it being an apt.
Yeah.
So
it might not be.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
All right.
Let's grab it.
I imagine someone's probably put. Yeah, someone's probably put it on apt, but it's not officially in there, right? Or it's not officially built and deployed to it, but it could be.
Ask question. I can just set a variable here without actually doing export, I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. You want to just stick with 2.26?
Yeah, we could do 2.3, 2.1. I don't really think there's anything.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there would be anything that was like drastically changed. You could do it.
So we'll do that. What else do we need here? Download. Why did you add another?
Oh, I parameterize.
GitHub repo.
Yeah, okay, I parameterize because the release link changes on occasion.
I could just grab this. I don't know why I was setting that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool. All right.
It all goes to GitHub anyway. Like the release link is in GitHub.
Yeah. Do we just want to name this? Actually, if I don't do output, it should just name it this, right?
No, because it will dump the entire binary. Because it's curl. It's not wget.
It won't just name
You could do a wget. No, because unless you know how you have no O, right? So I don't know. Let's see if did it print out the did it get wait, can you do ls and let's see if it did anything?
Okay, sure.
Or you just no, it didn't do anything. Yeah. You could do a wget because you do, I think, have wget on this machine, right?
Yeah, but I'm already here in typing, so I may as well just finish it here.
Yeah, and then you can paste the URL. Yeah. Oh, thank you. So some folks in chat mentioned there's an apt package for Ubuntu, but it's a bit behind version-wise, depending on the release you use. Thank you, folks.
Oh,
that's super helpful. It may not matter to us right now, but I mean, I guess we could do, for the sake of the official automation for it, we probably want to rely on the actual release link. It's thinking.
It is.
Ubuntu 20.4 has Prometheus 2.15. Oh, that's interesting. That is a bit behind. Yeah. Okay. It's good to know. Are you sure this connects outbound?
Oh.
Did we set an egress rule?
Let's pretend none of that just happened. I forgot that what happened was we went ahead and we set up I set up the server and I've got the security group on there, but because I wanted to walk through all the ports that needed to be opened up to the world, it actually is not opened up.
Are you sure? Because there's a top that says allow outbound. Oh no, is that for another? That's a rule for another one.
Yep, that is a rule for another one. Okay. So, yes. Yeah, I didn't.
Can I count it as a pepcac?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, sure. Why not?
I'm counting it. out of sheer entertainment value. I'm counting it.
Okay.
Yeah, because it needs outbound access to download things.
Yep. Yep. Let me think here. Let's see here. Did I don't think I have a variable for that. But it should need the same thing as the bastion. But actually, no, I don't think it matters. I think I can just get rid of this. Okay. We go ahead and apply this.
Who uses IPv6 anyway?
Yeah, I know, right? I kept thinking that. Okay.
So complete.
Oh, goodness.
Anyway.
Well,
so actually, maybe we should talk a little bit about like review the application, what's in there, what's in the service mesh in the first place. You know, after Terraform does after we accept the changes.
Okay.
So well, that was easy. Okay.
Yeah. So this should take just a second. All right, and we're done.
Yay!
Okay.
All right. And then now you're going to have to extract it.
Yeah. Okay.
And then you'll move. Yeah. So you'll just move the Prometheus directory. So it's you can copy that 231 / Prometheus.
Yeah.
We don't really need the other tools. No space in between it either.
Wait, what do you say? Wait.
So we need to copy Prometheus. Right? Prometheus -2.32.1.linux-amd64 / Prometheus. Right. So everything is bundled under the Prometheus subdirectory.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to see. Yeah. So there it is. Yeah. Gotcha.
Also, I have a new mic. Not a new mic, but it may or may not. Yeah, well, somehow we had to suppress the noise somehow. So noise suppression.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Okay. All right. And then just make sure So which Prometheus. So now we're just making sure we can execute it. You can do Prometheus version, I think. Prometheus-V. Prometheus version. I never remember. CLI is never necessarily standardized, but at least it recognized it. So that's good. -- version. No, just version. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's fine.
Okay. It's really one of these. Okay, there we go. So it is here. Oh, what? Well, I typed that.
Well, there you are. I don't know.
Okay.
Prometheus -- version. I don't know if maybe we accidentally put a new space or what. I don't know.
There we go. Okay. We are there.
Okay. All right. So now that we have installed Prometheus, we probably need to run it, right? When you run Prometheus, there's not really much. I guess there's really not that much to running it. I mean, it comes with a default config, which is great. But I don't think there's anything. Do you want to turn it on right now and then see what's in it? Would that make sense to do?
I mean, sure, why not? Give me a second. Okay. I'm gonna move StreamYard off of this tab. Yeah, there we go. That way I can actually see what's happening. Okay. Yeah, we can. If you want to run it, why not?
Okay. Yeah, so there's a couple of things that you need to pass in. Like Consul, it needs a config file, right? So you'll notice that there's a config file command line, config.file, Prometheus YAML. Yep. And so this config.file, Prometheus YAML, you need to pass in a file path somewhere. So it does come with a default one. You have to, if you go back to your directory though, and you ls Prometheus that, right? You'll notice there's a Prometheus.yaml. So what you'll do is type Prometheus. Yeah, there you go. This is Yeah, it's a default configuration. You need to pass a configuration for Prometheus to understand where it's scraping. And so here, there's a couple of configs, like you can set scrape interval, a default scrape interval. I'm not going to go too far into metrics and best and practices around it, just because it can get very dense. So what we're going to do is just go through the minimum that we will need to configure for Prometheus. Global, where is just the scrape interval evaluation interval, right? So those are the intervals in which you evaluate or you scrape for any information. We are not doing alert manager. You can do alerts in Prometheus. We are opting not to right now. There are other rules that you can use, right? So you can override them, right? Allows you to modularize and choose which kind of rules you want.
Oh, cool.
But there's also scrape configs, and scrape config is the more important piece, right? So scrape config contains a list of endpoints that we're going to scrape. You do have to describe it to Prometheus. Yes.
Gotcha.
So you'll notice the job name is labeled as job equals. So it gives you some detailed information, at least about the defaults. Right now, it's scraping itself. 9090 is itself. So the first thing we will do is start Prometheus with this config file.
Okay.
So we're just going to type Prometheus space -- config .file, and then
let me just
this
look at the
file
thing here. Yeah.
Now it may not start because we may need other CLI commands, but for now.
Oh, I mean, it seems to be kind of happy, I guess.
Yeah, so it's really just kind of hanging out there. We can go to port 9090. So if you go in your browser to port 9090 to this machine, port 9090, if that's possible.
Well, since I put it in the private subnet, it is not. It doesn't have a public IP address.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, I can change that around real quick, but I wasn't sure where we wanted to put that, so I put it there.
Can you put a load balancer in front of it?
We could. That's probably going to take a little bit longer than moving it.
Okay, just move it then. Move it to a public one.
But then again, moving it out into the public and making it be able to access the other things is going to take a little bit of configuration as well. What would be the better pattern? Would it be better for it to be in the private subnet with a load balancer, or would it be? It would be. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Live Terraform config. Clearly, we didn't plan this completely. I mean, we can start configuring. We can start configuring if you want, or we can at least configure the service mesh side. But
yeah, if we want to do that real quick, I'll need to convert it and do some stuff first, because either we're going to have to do it set up with a load balancer, or we're going to have to set it up in the public subnet, and then give it access to all the things in the private, which I don't think what we want. So
Consul's connected to the Consul is connected to a load balancer, right?
Yeah, the Consul servers are connected to a public one. Yeah.
Is it an ELB or an ALB?
ALB.
Can you just add the endpoint to the ALB?
I don't think that I can, simply because it's set up to work with an auto-scaling group, and this is set as just a plain EC2 instance. I can change it around here. It'll just take a few.
Okay. All right. Let's change it around. Yeah. For those who are tuning in, it's because we're changing the Prometheus server to a public subnet, because we do want to be able to see the UI. If you do not want to see, or you do not care to view the Prometheus UI, or you're using Grafana and Grafana is scraping Prometheus, in that case, you probably don't need to put Prometheus on a publicly accessible endpoint. We have just put it private, but we're also not going to look at Grafana today. So Grafana will help you dashboard these things, and we're just not planning to use it. We were just going to use the Prometheus UI. Decided it, but it's always subject to change. So if you have a burning desire for the next getting,
okay,
you can vote.
All right,
we are up. Oh look, it's in dark mode. I didn't know you could have dark mode. Oh,
here we'll go light mode.
Wow.
There we go.
Oh my! Oh, I didn't. This is new. I didn't realize there was dark mode.
Oh yeah, there's like
goes to show
an auto one too. Yeah.
Okay. So Prometheus has nothing in it really. You can type an expression and it will show you like all of the different metrics that are currently in there.
We should throw a marker on real quick.
Oh yes. Okay. Fine. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You're right.
So that way
although then it will get like messed up in YouTube.
Okay. Do it? Oh, we can always do like, well, either way, we can figure it out later. So we got this finally. Sorry about that stream, but yeah. New Year's hiccups.
Okay. So we have Prometheus up. This is the UI. If you go into the expression button and you type it may or may not show up with metrics. I don't remember. Usually GCC is a metric in there. Sometimes it doesn't. I mean, we didn't scrape anything.
Yeah, didn't you say that always takes like a minute or something for it to do its first thing?
Yeah, but you can check status and you can fiddle around.
Okay.
Yeah, because we don't actually have anything being scraped. It's kind of like nothing's going to be there, which is fine. Just nothing's going to be there. So, you can check any things out, but for the most part, you can do like Prometheus HTTP request thingy. You can see the top series count by metric names.
Where is this?
Scroll down. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
See? Okay. Scroll up. No. Scroll up. Okay. Yeah. You see like bucket, tool, copy one of those.
Yeah.
That's a metric. So what happens in Prometheus is Prometheus scrapes endpoints, right? Usually there are plain text endpoints. And in this plain text endpoint, there is a format that you have to follow. The format usually involves a metric name and a metric type, and then the number, right? So in this case, the metric name often is always pretty much underscore delimited, and it tells you the specific metric name. So in this case, this is the number of this is the HTTP request duration in seconds, and it's bucketed. Yeah, so you can copy the whole thing, and you can paste it into the query. Not that it really does anything necessarily, but
so here, that's all we do.
Yep.
Oh, cool.
And then you'll notice there's a lot of interesting formulations going on, right? Yeah. So there's a lot of there's the initial metric name, and then you'll notice there's the squiggle bracket, mustache bracket. Okay. So between the mustache brackets for Prometheus is usually a tag. So it has information or metadata about the specific metric. You can as the person who wrote this exporter. So usually if it's like Envoy, the community standardized on certain tags and information that they want to see. You can add tags to it yourself if you decide to, in the case of Envoy. But in this case, right, it's showing you that there's a couple of pieces of metadata here. Yes, so this one is a bucket. And I am assuming, because I don't really remember this entirely, but assuming it's a bucket, I think this is a histogram. There are 3 different types of metric types. I will put the link in chat. Prometheus metric types. I will drop it in chat. I believe there were 4. 4? Sorry, 4. I missed one of them. There are 4 of them. There's a counter, a gauge, a histogram, and a summary. So
gotcha.
Counter, yeah. There are only 4 types. You have to put into one of the 4 types. I don't really know what this HTTP request duration seconds bucket is, but if I had to take a guess, it's either I think it's a histogram, because histogram is usually labeled with bucket. So histogram will sample, like is a sampling, right? So you can then chart a histogram. That's usually what it's made for. A counter just goes up. A gauge goes up and down.
Okay.
And then the summary, huh?
I said, okay. Just agreeing with you.
Yeah. Okay. And then the summary just it's a total count, right? A summary is usually like either a total count or a sum. And you can specify certain like quantiles if you do a summary. Summaries, I have not personally written a metrics format with a summary before, but I've done a number of them with counter gauges and histograms. So,
okay.
Yeah, so those are the 4 metric types that you're going to do with Prometheus, or you're going to see with Prometheus today. This one is a histogram, but you'll see these labels, right? And you'll see the tag information about what quantile it is, and where it's supposed to be. So that's that LE, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So you could chart this I don't remember how to chart this in the query, but if you go and look at that little button,
oh, whoops.
Yeah, you can go back to you can look at the graph. We'll explore it a little bit. Yeah,
Ooh,
so
that.
Yeah, so it's like the raw telemetry, the raw metric itself doesn't really mean too much to you. And so when you do metrics as with Prometheus, the value is usually in the query. So you can do something like sum, you can do something like count. It's like the mathematics. Yeah, it's mathematics basically of aggregating the information, or you can divide over a certain rate. So the query itself is available to you to do that.
Yeah. Sarah, do you know of any?
Do you know of any?
That's pretty cool. Do you know of any of the different syntax that we can use?
So let's go to if you click on the metrics explorer.
This one?
Yeah, that one. And we can find one that's not a histogram, because a histogram requires some. We can do something like Go threads, maybe Go threads, or Prometheus engine queries. Maybe Go threads isn't really helping.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah. Well, that's 8. We need something that's perhaps up and down a little bit more.
Yeah.
Maybe Prometheus queries.
Okay. Where did you see that?
Oh, Prometheus HTTP request total, kind of in the middle. Yeah, there you go.
Wait, whoops. There we go.
Okay. All right. So let's say this is the number of Prometheus. So if you see if you scroll over the graph, and for those who are not able to view this, I'm sorry. You'll notice that there are different handlers. There's different like instances, etc. And so what you can do is actually make like you can do a squiggle, a mustache bracket in the query.
Okay.
And then do,
cool.
you can choose like a handler. You can choose handler equals metrics equals / metrics, something like that.
Wait, say that again. What should I type here?
Handler equals.
cool.
Yeah. And then quote, you want a string / metrics. Yeah. So
cool.
You can do that, execute, and we'll just isolate that one. Now, what you can also do is like, that's the total, right?
Okay.
But maybe you want to know like the sum in the past 5 minutes, I think, like Prometheus query rate.
Okay.
You could do like a rate, which is you can calculate over a point in time. So I'll send you the function page so you can look at that, just so that you have it for reference, and I'll put it in the chat as well. There's a bunch of functions available, so you can take a look, but there are a number of them. We're going to use something called rate. Cool. You can search for rate in the page. Yeah.
Okay, so we just wrap it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
So rates, and then
you can choose brackets. It for the you can choose it for the past like 5 minutes. You could choose it for the past 1 minute, whatever you decide you wanted.
So if we did 1M,
notice your graph. Yeah, your graph underneath there, it says 5 minutes. Yeah. So what this basically does is tell you the rate for the past 5 minutes. And then you get this nice chart of it increasing over time, right?
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Nice. So there's a lot of...
This is overly simplified, but at least it gives you a sense of the queries that you can run.
So for my understanding then, this Prometheus grabs the metrics, dumps them in here, and a lot of your bread and butter is going to be using these different expressions here and their query functions and their query syntax to, well, we can either look at it through graphs or just drill down into the information and formulate it into something more useful.
Yep, that is correct. There are a number of folks who spend a lot of time curating the right kind of query, because sometimes using the wrong query will misrepresent information. So you have to be really conscientious about how to do it.
Cool. Just looking around some of these other ones. What's our next step here?
Okay, so the next step is we started Prometheus. I don't know if you want to do a systemd file. We're kind of like, we're in the hour, we're halfway through. We probably want to actually turn it on for service mesh so we can save the systemd file for post stream.
Yeah. Why don't we get it going first, and then if we have time, we can set up that automation.
Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we need to turn on Prometheus metrics for Envoy.
Okay. And this is going to be for the server and the clients, or just the clients?
I think it's the clients, just the clients.
Okay. All right, cool.
Just the clients. Although the server, I mean, remember that Bootstrap config that we had? Do you remember that? The Bootstrap config entries?
Yeah,
or not Bootstrap config entries. It's like, no, proxy defaults, right? Proxy defaults?
Yeah.
We need to just funnel it through. Yeah, we need to funnel it through the proxy defaults.
Oh, so we only go to the server. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Let me get that then.
Yeah. So for those who didn't follow along in the previous stream, just to recap, we are going into the console server configuration. There is a section at the bottom that you can configure for service mesh, and it allows you to configure Bootstrap entries for proxy configuration and for other various configurations. But we set something called proxy defaults, and the proxy defaults, you can add information there and it will propagate to the proxies. So
that would be right here.
Yes.
Right?
Okay. Yes, that is correct. There we are. Okay. So the first thing we're going to need to do is add one line.
Okay. In the config, I'm
under
guessing?
protocol. Yeah, in config under protocol. And this will propagate this config to, I don't know if it will propagate. We may have to restart things, but it will pass this configuration to Envoy. It's called Envoy _ Prometheus _ bind _ ADDR.
All right.
And then space equals, and you'll want to do this on string quotes, right? 0.0.0.0/9102. Sorry, colon 9102.
Yeah, I should have caught that myself.
Okay, so we typed this out, but what does it really mean? Remember how we exposed we exposed the Envoy sidecars on port 20,000? And otherwise Envoy does not, like, would not necessarily, you wouldn't necessarily be able to that's the you wouldn't necessarily be able to access Envoy otherwise, right? Similarly, what this is doing is basically saying Envoy will expose the metrics on 9102.
Yeah, makes sense.
So they do exist. Envoy already has them. They just don't the proxy doesn't expose it.
Oh, nice. Well, that's convenient.
Yes. So now we just have to tell it to expose the metrics on 9102. Yeah.
Cool.
All right. So you're going to save this.
Okay.
Yeah. Save this. And then you're probably going to have to restart everything.
Yeah, because I think the Bootstrap ones do need to be restarted, right?
Yeah. I mean, I guess we could apply proxy default and not bootstrap it, but I figure for the sake of example, we should probably.
What do you mean apply it?
You could update the proxy default mutably. Like rather than apply it through the bootstrap config, we could also just config right in Consul itself.
You mean going through the clients, right?
Yeah. Not through the clients, through the server. Or we could go through the clients too, either way.
Yeah. But we do this correctly when all the clients are going to freak out here for a second because the server is going to go down. When they reconnect, it should propagate all of those things once again. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we also need to add something to Consul clients anyway. So.
Okay.
Yeah. I think we have to turn on telemetry.
Yeah. I do remember us having that because we enabled telemetry for Prometheus at one point in that original video where we touched on metrics. I just didn't remember where we did it. Okay.
If you can go to the client config before we restart we could restart it, right? Would it be that bad?
Yeah. We can. Something past stream PTSD is making me remember restarting one server, leading to some hairy issues, but hopefully that's not.
No, I think that was 3 servers that borked everything. I think it was 3
when
servers.
we scaled down from 3 to 2. So hopefully, let's. I mean, I'm just gonna do it.
I mean, I guess we could have just we could have just fixed it in place.
I mean, it's
whatever.
Too late now, so it's on its way now.
Okay. Yeah, if you could go to the clients though, because the clients do need to restart.
It's like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
The clients.
So
if you check the clients,
All right.
Okay.
And this is going to be in just the. Okay.
Yeah.
In the main file here.
Thingy.
Yeah. Yes.
No, we did a gRPC port, but you're gonna need one more thing, I think.
Okay.
It is a config. I think it's telemetry. It's the telemetry stanza.
Okay. In this file, though, right?
In this file. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Telemetry.
That sounds familiar.
Maybe we don't need it. I'm looking to see if we need it.
Yeah. Since it's in that global defaults, right? And we don't have to come over here to any of these and, for example, tell them to default to HTTP. So shouldn't this do the same thing with using? Well, no, because we still have to do the telemetry stuff. So is there a way to put the telemetry thing in these global defaults as well?
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't believe so. Yeah. Sorry, I'm looking for console agent config. Okay, here we go. Aha. Yeah. There we go. Thank you. I was like, where is this link? Where is this link? Digging. Okay. Yes, thank you. That is what we need.
Okay, sweet.
That will allow us to export agent metrics. I think we disabled it because we didn't really need the agent metrics right now, but I think we should probably just export them.
I'm trying to grab the link here through StreamYard, and it just wants to show Blake's comment. I don't think I can actually copy it without showing it.
There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All righty.
It's like, where is this
anyway? Time. So just metrics path and then params format?
No. So we're going to configure Prometheus later. We have to go back and add the scrape config to Prometheus. We just need the Prometheus retention time. So you need under ports, if you start a new squiggle, a new squiggle bracket. So you do telemetry squiggle. Yeah. And then Prometheus retention time. And then I guess you could put 24 hours, 24H or something.
Okay. Is it string, I'm guessing?
Yeah, it's a string. And then one thing that it does recommend as part of the option, when running in this mode, it is recommended to also enable the option disable hostname to avoid having prefix metrics with hostname.
Okay.
So if you hit enter.
Is that nested in telemetry?
Yes, it is nested in telemetry. So disable hostname equals true. Okay. Yep. There we are.
All right.
Okay. So then now we have to start Consul again, the Consul client again, and Consul Envoy again.
Okay. So Consul, and then the Consul Envoy.
Yep. And if we borked everything, I guess we'll find out soon.
Yeah. Because if we do this right here, we should just start seeing metrics from just from this API, the API servers. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Except we won't because I haven't opened up the security groups, I don't think, to allow it to reach.
We could try if you curl 0009102 /
right
metrics.
Here. Okay. 9102 / metrics.
Maybe not.
Isn't it like is it the V1?
Can you check if you started metrics? It? No, it's not. Or maybe it is. Can you check if everything started correctly? Like Consul started correctly and on Consul Envoy started correctly before we go through this process?
Yeah. Okay.
Not happy.
We know how to fix that. Just restarting it. Yes, I bet you that worked. Yes. Well, that's a thing. But okay. Okay. Is this the V1 agent metrics?
No, it's not the V1 because that's not agent metrics, right? So there's two separate metrics. Remember, there's agent metrics and then there's proxy metrics. So we can look at the agent metrics if you want. It would be. Oh, it is the agent. It is V1 metrics. Oh, hold on.
So it is V1 metrics. So
I'm not on port 9102. I don't believe, unless we merge it. Hold on. Prometheus. No. Okay. I think it's just / metrics. 91. Well, port 9102 doesn't even seem to be listening. So
yeah, because I don't think because didn't we only set that up? Well, we did this global
proxy
thing
default
here. So so you think that would open it, right?
Can you curl? Remember how we can debug the admin, the console, the Envoy admin config.
No, I don't. Help me.
Curl localhost 19,000.
Yeah, I would not even have guessed
/ config _ dump. Remember, that tells us what the config is. Right. So I see, keep scrolling. I see no public listener for 9102, at least not in this right now.
Yeah.
So
the config bootstrap thingy did not make its way over here.
No, it did not.
Yeah, I see 8501.
Oh, yeah. I don't think it made it over here.
8502. Yeah, I could just grep this, right?
Yeah, you could grep it. Are we sure it's 9102 or did we go 9102?
Wait, what did I just do here? Oh, because it's coming back JSON. What are you talking about over here?
Yeah, 9102. Did we save this? And we restarted it.
Did we save it?
Did we save and restart? We restarted the server, right?
I mean, I know that surely.
Maybe. Okay, really, no. Before you do this, can you type console config read space -kind?
Okay, I remember this.
Space proxy default, right? Equals proxy default, right? Whatever it is. Yeah, proxy -default. And then what did we name this proxy default? I don't even know.
I don't even know either.
Just do hit enter. It will tell us.
Specify the name parameter.
Can you do again? Is it list? Yeah. What did we name it? I don't think we named it anything.
Name global.
Okay. We named it global.
Okay. Let's try again. Doesn't this have to be an equal sign here? Or does it matter?
Yeah, I don't think it matters. It will take both, but equals is more. It's nicer looking.
Valid config entry time proxy default. defaults. Just kidding. Aha.
Yeah,
It does not
didn't
have
take.
the. Okay, so let's restart it.
No. Don't restart it.
Oh.
Just
that wouldn't put it up because I don't know if I did restart it.
Oh, okay, yeah, restart it. Did you restart it? Yeah, you restarted it.
I think this was. This may have been in a different lifetime though. This may have been before we started.
Are you sure?
The stream.
I think you just. Okay, so can you just do console config right? Actually, we have service defaults somewhere, right? Did we ever set service defaults on the client side?
I don't recall. Even if we did, we may have automated it. So.
Oh. Okay. All right. Well then, we could also do this console config right.
Okay.
I think we'll have to override it. Can you copy that JSON and just save it to a file?
I'm just curious why didn't restarting it? Can I just try restart? Because if I didn't do it, then and I didn't save the file, then let's just see. And then so
so the question is, are we defining it in config entries bootstrap? Yes, we are defining it in config entries bootstrap. It's a bootstrap entry.
But we still didn't take it. Yeah. Is our syntax correct? Did we write it correctly?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, go back to the can you go scroll down this thing? What else is in bootstrap config? What did we put in here? Service resolver. Scroll down. Okay. Yeah, so we didn't start. Okay, cool. Let's go back to API. Let's go back to client.
Okay.
And then what we're going to do is set if you could look in the etc console D directory, the one with all the configs, where all the configs are. Okay. Can you open up api.hcl? Okay. Okay, so service defaults. I don't think that helps us, unfortunately. Yeah, because I don't think expose Envoy. I don't think we can set it through here.
Yeah.
Darn. I think we could just. Yeah. Okay, so it's bootstrap entries only take effect when the cluster is first initialized and installed by the server that becomes the leader. This is a list of inline config entries to insert into the state store when the console servers start. Since your cluster is running, you need to use console config right. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So you need to copy the JSON here.
Okay. Let me go ahead and grab this.
That also works. Yes. Yeah. Copy the HCL there. It's fine too. Either way.
Oh, do I need the full? Just this block?
You're good.
Oh wait, we just need this, right? Yeah, we just need that.
Yes, you just need the block. Yeah. Okay. So then open an HCL file, a temporary one. Yeah. It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah. You could call it temp.hcl.
Temp.hcl.
Yeah. Put the config in there. You need the bracket. Yeah, there you go. So everything should be good there. Okay.
Like that.
Yeah. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, save that. And then what you'll do is console config. Right.
And then
space kind. Oh, well, actually, no, you don't need that because you already defined it. So yeah, you just need that. You're good.
Okay.
Yep, perfect.
Well, almost perfect.
Oh, wait, did you set?
Is this as simple as just the file, or is that console doesn't have?
No, did you set your token, console token?
I didn't. I did not. That's what it is. Okay. Well, give me 1 second. Yep.
Oh, okay.
This is console HTTP token, right? Sure that's it. There you go.
There you are. Okay, now you can read proxy defaults again.
Okay, which was, I believe, this.
Yep.
Yep, there it is.
There we are. Okay, now we can restart.
Okay.
Restart the other stuff.
Oh, but I don't need to restart this.
You don't need to
restart. Because this should propagate to everything else.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. Okay, so over here then, back on our one client that we have set up with the other things, we should be able to just look at that config dump again and see the listener, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But I don't know if it got propagated yet or not.
That's not it. Oh, okay.
So it could not. We might have to restart it for it to take.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't see it.
What were we doing to? It was just the. Is it what? If it's
Consul
working, it would be.
Envoy? Okay. So pause. Okay. So remember. Yeah. So let's go back for this. So we turned on. So the Envoy Prometheus bind address, which you configured on the server as part of the proxy defaults, that turns on proxy metrics.
Okay.
Metrics coming from Envoy proxy.
Right.
Okay. So the second thing we did was we went to the clients and we turned on telemetry.
Right. And we've done,
telemetry exposes the agent metrics. So remember that when we did this, it was on port 8500. You can do this now. We'll show it once again.
Oh, that's right.
It was on 8500. You did need a token, I think, too. And then you can also do like a question mark format equals Prometheus or format, whatever.
Okay.
Right.
So.
Yeah, that thingy. Curl, and it's a header dash. It's a header, so you have to add a header to curl.
Oh, I do? Okay. I didn't. Which
header? It is x-console-token, I think.
Oh, wait. Even though I've got this exported here?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Because
I'm not doing it. Yeah, I'm doing it to curl. Right. So x that's console dash token, right? Should just be able to do the.
Don't forget the colon in between the two.
Oh, yeah. Good call.
And then,
localhost 8500. And then what was the metrics path again? Just
v1/agent/metrics. And then you can,
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, gotcha.
So you'll notice that those are the metrics. Right? Yeah. You can pretty print it. So this is not Prometheus format. So let's do this now, because before we move on to the Envoy thing, so that we don't introduce more confusion. These are agent metrics. These are the console client, what the console client's doing, and the console client exporting these things. So okay. Scroll down and we'll show you the Prometheus metrics, right? So this is not Prometheus formatted, so you can do format equals Prometheus. So instead of pretty, replace it with format equals Prometheus.
Oh, cool.
Okay. This is Prometheus format. It has the help, right? So that's a description. The type is commented, right? And you'll see, for example, process virtual memory, max bytes is gauge, and then it has the gauge number. If you scroll up, you should see the console agent metrics as well. That's a big dump of stuff.
Yeah,
so
this is a lot.
You'll notice, so all of this is actually what the raw telemetry looks like from Prometheus formatting.
Okay, cool.
Yep. Okay, so this is the client. This is console client. This tells us nothing about API service. This tells us nothing about the proxy.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, so remember that port. Copy and paste that endpoint. It's 8500 v1 agent metrics, right? So remember that. Okay.
Yeah.
With the Prometheus format. So if we wanted to import console agent metrics into Prometheus, this is the endpoint we would need to tell Prometheus to scrape from.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So that means we need to go to the metrics server and talk to it about it then?
Do you want to configure this first, or do you prefer the proxy metrics to go to Prometheus?
Wouldn't the proxy metrics be what we're trying to get to?
Yes, but the proxy metrics are not here, right? So let's actually do the proxy metrics.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay, so remember we configured the proxy defaults, but they're not getting captured at the proxy. So let's restart the proxy and let's see if it recaptures the public and sets the new public listener for 9102. Yeah.
So this is just the Consul Envoy service.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. Woo.
And then I'm going to check to make sure that it actually restarted here because
it does this on occasion. All right.
Okay. So it did.
Okay, so let's actually check the admin.
The admin. What?
Admin port for Envoy. Pop quiz.
Oh, the dump thing. Yeah. Okay.
Aha! You see that static route right there?
This
metrics.
One? Yeah.
Yep.
Nice. Okay. Cool.
Scroll up. You can check it out more if you want. You could look and see if 9102 or whatever port we put in there is in there.
Ah, there it is.
Yep, there we are. Okay, it took. Okay. So now you should be able to do. Now you should be able to do curl localhost 9102/metrics.
Yeah. All right. Damn. All nice.
Right. Yeah. So you see that someone, we did have some metrics coming through for API, which is the API service.
Yeah.
Consul, it adds a couple of tags and stuff to surface through Envoy. So there's some information there. So we did this part, right? So now we've got a metrics endpoint.
After enabling that, is this metrics endpoint grabbing both the proxy metrics and the agent metrics? Is it? No. So they're two separate ones. Okay.
They're two separate ones.
Yeah. Okay. Are we going to pipe both into Prometheus?
We'll start with the proxy ones, and then pop quiz, you can do the agent ones.
Okay. And they'll just both be accessible through Prometheus.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, and a tip from Blake. If you curl 127.001.19,000/listeners, it will show you all the listeners rather than us digging through this giant config dump.
Oh, okay.
Also works too.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's nice. Thank you, Blake.
There we are.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. I'm going to mark it so that way we can have it for all posterity. Something digging through config dumps is the one true Unix way. Actually, that is my way. I just dig through a bunch of config. It's just all right, most inefficient way possible. Okay, so now let's go back to Prometheus.
Yeah.
I know I haven't used awk once. It's a miracle that I haven't used awk once. Okay. Back to Prometheus we go.
Here we are.
Are we? Oh yeah, we are. Okay.
Yeah. So we probably need to stop it and change the config file, right?
Yes, that's correct.
See you next time. Look at it. So polite.
So polite. Okay. So let's open the YAML file, prometheus.yaml file.
Right. Ooh. I'm guessing we need to add this target then, right?
Well, do you really want to add this target, or perhaps we should add another job and say it's actually Envoy proxy or like Envoy, right? So the idea is that in Prometheus, you do want to you don't want to just like throw jobs in there, right?
Okay.
you don't want to just add target endpoints to the static config. You want to separate it with jobs. And jobs help kind of sort out the source by which you're scraping things. So you could copy and paste that job name section and static config and target, just copy it, duplicate it, and then we'll just use something like proxy or something.
Okay. So this is going to be for the proxy ones, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll call it proxy. We can default it to metrics because remember, what was the port that we were scraping on?
Just metrics. But this needs to be 9102, right?
It does need to be 9102. Also, the target is not localhost, right? The target is the API server.
Yeah. So for that, let me see here. Let me double check. Because I think we're going to have to change security groups because, we're going to have to add that. So all of these other servers are going to need to allow traffic from the metric server, correct? On that 9102 port? Okay.
Yes, that's correct.
Let me do that. Maybe you can say things while I do that.
No, you can do it. I am going to get more tea. And turn on more lights because it's dim and it's dark here.
Gotcha. All right. Let me do that real quick. Servers don't need it. Only the clients need it. I can't remember if I made, I think I only have one. So this should be pretty painless here. Two. Oh, gosh, my VI skills here. Okay. 4. Yes. I believe that is all that it should be. Allowing traffic in from 9102, since it's going to be reaching out, that should be it. Chief Tattooed Officer, I have no idea. Maybe Barry can answer that question when she gets back. Let's see here. All right, so I'm gonna have to apply this. Is there anything? That should be it, though. I have actually been watching Terraform do its thing like all day. I should. Okay. We had a question in the chat, and I admittedly do not know the answer to it. So perhaps you do.
Yeah. Okay. So the question is, does Terraform insist on using the TCP IP for AWS, or can you use native open flow rules instead? Is this with regards to Terraform configuring against the AWS API, or with regards to AWS configuring, or this is like configuring the servers, for example, accessing endpoints in AWS? I just want to double check. Configuring the security groups in particular. Yeah, it uses the TCP IP. So it uses the TCP IP. It is calling the AWS API. So whatever is natively offered through the AWS API. Yeah, like the TCP IP rule would be this CIDR block is okay on these ports. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So
you can do the security group ID.
Yeah, so Terraform allows you to do both. AWS API allows you to do both ways. You can do intent-based, right, which is the open flow, sort of the open flow approach. You can do the intent of this group of security groups can communicate with each other in this ID. So that's where this, it's not in this, I don't think it's in this Terraform repository though, right? We mostly do it by port.
Yeah, I mean, we've got some here. Oh, you're talking about, okay. I see what you're saying. So you're saying from beyond port, getting rid of the idea of the port altogether and just using security groups?
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly. Yeah.
No.
Yes. So for the question in chat, yes, it is possible. We're using ports demonstrated here today with the TCP/IP endpoints, but you can do what is, I guess, the open flow approach, and that's the security group ID. Both methods are supported in the Terraform resource. It's a good question.
Cool.
Okay.
It's this should be good. Yep,
okay.
That's enabled. So that means we should be able to just point this to that IP address of the one that we have set up, right? The new port.
Mm-hmm.
All righty. So let me get that IP. $9102, and that should be good then.
Yeah, theoretically.
I mean, it's static.
Yeah, it's static. So hopefully there's connectivity.
Yeah, I mean, they should all be able to access each other. Okay. So if that is up, then
you can go to status, actually.
Okay. Which part here?
Targets.
Targets. Okay. Oh, targets. Oh, doesn't this take a second? I think you mentioned that at the beginning it'll say 0.
So yeah. So you'll notice it says last scrape never.
Yeah.
Right. So it'll scrape eventually.
Yeah. I don't know if this refreshes.
You can refresh it.
Yeah. Context deadline exceeded.
So it didn't get to it. It couldn't. Can you go onto your Prometheus machine and just curl to the metrics endpoint?
Yes. So to that particular server. Actually, I think I still have this in my thing. Yes.
You'll need /metrics, but I'm assuming it just can't connect to it.
So I just don't think it can get to it.
Yeah.
I thought I had opened these up to everything else in this. I guess I didn't. Yeah. Okay. That's why. So I need to. The clients are allowing access incoming on 9102. The metric server allows outbound to anything, so it should be able to reach it. What rule is missing here? Oh, wait, duh. Just kidding. It's because the source security group ID is from itself. I need it from the metric.
That would explain a few things. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
From the metric server.
Oh boy. Here we are. Okay. All right.
Charm. I think these are fast. How you holding up on East Coast time, Barry? You still got your energy? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just hanging out, a lot of good questions in the chat.
Yeah.
I'm just like watching, I think we need to add a setting to do like a elevator music or something.
Yeah, I was thinking
it's a lot more entertaining. More entertaining. I don't think it. Yeah, it looks.
Okay, so
/metrics.
Yep.
Yay!
So that was the problem.
Right. So let's look at Prometheus. Yes, let's look at that again. Let it scrape.
Yep.
Which I guess. Yeah. Okay. So it'll scrape in a bit.
Yep.
Things like 15 seconds was the it was the default. So.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
There we go.
There we are. Okay. Yay. So now you can go into Prometheus and now you can check out all those metrics.
Yeah. So you can just pick What's one of the ones? I don't even.
Envoy.
I've been so,
any of these. Yeah.
Okay.
Any of the Envoy prefixed Envoy ones, right?
All right.
So
let's just do updated.
Yeah.
And then
There
grab
you are.
it.
There's
it has
not
nothing
much to
because
show. It's 0.
Yeah, because there's not much in that one.
You could do something like max request, like upstream, external upstream requests, something like that.
Okay.
You could do that. Yeah, there you are. Execute. Yeah, there's something there.
Yeah, they're like little because I've got it at an hour.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. There we are. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
So, you have a little bit of information here.
Yeah.
All right. This does not help us because it's just the API. But it's still some information. This tells us like whether or not we've made, the upstream requests have come in or something. So as I recall. And you can separate it by code as well. So there's like, I think if you scroll over the graph, you keep flashing over it. But if you scroll over you see, so you see the Envoy response code. It tells you the response code, of itself, cool. Which is 200 right now. So, there's it's not bad. It's just, not much going on right now because we at least made some API calls to it. So it has some data. Sometimes Prometheus, if you don't make a call, sometimes the Prometheus will just not have the metric. So you have to account for null metrics. It doesn't just it doesn't do 0, right, necessarily.
Gotcha.
It's represented as a null metric usually.
Okay.
So that's something to know. Go ahead.
So so just a question here. If let's say that there have been like sporadic errors coming out of our API, and we don't know what they are or what's the cause of it, what would be your flow of trying to identify that, given what we have set up here?
Well, I would look at the error code, right? I would look at what the error code is. So you can do a squiggle bracket, right? So it would be no, it's not squiggle bracket there. Yeah, you had the right upstream.
I did have the right thing.
Yeah.
Darn. What was it? It was upstream. This one? Yeah. This.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then response code, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then like what? Equals to like 400
yeah. So then
or something.
200. You can. I think there's also. I'm looking at just double checking as well. There's another annotation that you can. Here we go. Here we are. I have to remember the correct metric. So I'll send you the correct metric. So what I would do is I would look at this metric.
Okay.
And if you look at that metric there,
just find it here. Envoy cluster upstream. Where is that? RQX.
Yeah,
here we
it's
go.
upstream requests X. And so the X is just sorted by response class. If you execute that, there's a response code class there. So it takes the prefix, right? So it takes the 2 or the 5 or the 4. So if it was a 500, I would say, then Envoy returned a 500. Or on the application API returned 500.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just thrown off by the fact they decided to color it red.
It's just I think it might be easier in the table view in this situation, just because there's a lot going on. But
okay, cool. That makes sense. Because I was gonna say, because if you wanted to see any 400, so they just classify by that first number. That's cool.
Yeah, but you made a request, right, from web to API just to test things, or no?
I haven't. I could.
Oh. Yeah. If you want, you can do it, and then you can see it. It'll probably go up, right? So if you make a request from web to API, you'll see it go up.
You can do it. There we go. It'll take like a little bit to show up, though, right?
No, it'll show up. I mean, it's kind of dependent.
Let's just do a bunch. Okay.
That also works too.
Does this up? Oh, okay.
It does not. No.
Okay.
There you are.
We can see my impatience. Yeah.
Because of like health checking, for example. So
Cool.
We did set Consul health checking, so it is some of the health checks too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you get a little bit of information here.
Yeah.
At least you got a sense of what this looks like. We can move on. We don't have much time. We can move on to configuring this for web and then do the dynamic scraping if that's what you prefer to do. Or we can get the agent metrics in here.
Maybe just to show that it can go faster than what we've done so far, right?
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So let's go back to web. I think we don't have to turn on telemetry for web, but I recommend in web just restart Consul Envoy.
Okay. Let me figure out which one web is. By the way, we set up the API first.
We did.
Yeah. So now we're over here. We don't need to change anything in the config file here then.
Nope. Because we're not going to do the agent telemetry unless we have time. So we just need to restart Envoy because remember, we just need the proxy defaults to get back into it.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Because we need it to propagate from what we set on the server.
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh. And just in case. Okay, cool. So that is up and working now. So what does that mean? Does that mean we can get the proxy or metrics from?
I would recommend that you examine whether or not the listeners took. So remember the curl localhost 19,000.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yes, just to make sure that the listeners are available.
I didn't have to. So just this one then. Yeah. So it did. Yeah. So it did put it up.
Okay.
Yeah, cool.
Excellent. So then what we're going to do now is it's available. So we don't have to do anything. Now we go back to Prometheus and we're going to configure.
We didn't add it to the static targets yet though. So do we need to do that?
Not. That's why we're going to go back to Prometheus. Yes. Okay. We're going to go back to the Prometheus machine and we're going to go into the config. And we're going to do something that I guess we're going to do something to fix the static problem because I guess, Cole, why would this static config thing be a problem?
Just in case, because if I decide to take the existing servers down and stand them back up, the IP is going to change. So, and this will all break.
Yes, and we will all be sad. And so Prometheus does have a way for you to dynamically scrape configurations from certain endpoints. So we're going to do this. We're going to scrape the IP addresses from somewhere. Now, Cole, what is your best guess as to where we shall get a list of IP addresses for all of our services in our service mesh?
Probably from the Consul servers.
Yeah, there we are. All right. So I'm sending you a config because out of the sake of for our own time. There is a way you can set service discovery configs for Prometheus.
For me, because I'm just like, I don't see how this talks to Consul. Okay.
Okay. So let's just do this, and then we'll have a failure case first, and then we'll go back and actually configure it.
So do I need? I
copy that.
The whole job here.
Whole thing, and then we'll delete. Yeah, whole thing, and then we'll delete.
Delete this thing here. I mean, why not? We don't need it, right?
Delete it. Yeah, delete it.
Okay, thing. That's right. I'm not in.
Yeah, you could delete.
Hold on. Okay. Yeah, I was trying to paste from.
Okay.
Okay.
So first thing, you can delete the metrics path.
Okay.
And
this probably should be called something else.
Delete the tags. Delete HashiCorps. Delete both.
Okay. Delete this whole field here.
No, you need Consul SD configs though.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So under Consul SD config, I'll send you the Consul SD config Prometheus documentation. Okay. So you have it. Underneath it, you're going to need to set two things: server and token. Not those. Not the meta labels. Not the meta labels.
Not those.
Server and token. Yeah.
Okay.
So you need to set those two things.
With these square brackets?
No, not with the square brackets.
Why are the square brackets there?
Optional.
Optional. Okay. All right. So we need both of these then here.
Yes.
That I've highlighted. Okay.
Yes. Now, why wouldn't they be optional? Is if you deployed a console client, and in which case you could just access it on localhost and use a default token. But we don't have that configured. So.
Okay.
Right. So
these
delete the
square brackets are they're making me a little nervous here. All right.
Just delete them. Yeah. You don't need the square brackets. That's just documentation, and you don't need the dashes either because it's a YAML, so you don't need any of the dashes. Right. It's not a list.
Wait. Oh, because it's not. Okay, I see.
Yeah, it's not a list.
Gotcha. It's just a.
They just denote the square brackets as an optional field. Yeah, but we actually need the field.
Okay, I see.
Right. Gotcha. So what's the console server's host name and port?
The console server's host name is. Does it want? So, am I logged into the server anywhere on any of these tabs? I can't even remember because we have so many. Am I?
Because we configured it, right? We configured it when we added the proxy config.
It's one of the, it's this one. Yeah. Okay. So this is the host name.
Well, you just need the IP address, right? So you can do it all
so we just need
address.
the IP. Okay. So not the host
because
name,
it's accessible, right?
Yeah. It's not accessible, but we can fix that afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah. So
it's YAML, so you don't need the caret bracket host or anything, and you can just put the IP address and port 8500 because it needs to access the console server API. Okay. Your server added a space. Yeah. Boop. Yeah. Okay. All right. So now you need your token because that's the ASL token.
Bad token. Bad token. We need the bad token, right?
Preferably you should use a better token, but we'll just use the bad token for the sake of time. Okay. When Cole says the console bad token, it's not the bad token. It's just an admin token. You shouldn't be using an admin token. It just needs the read access though.
Okay. And this doesn't need to be a list thing like this field here. It's just to.
Nope. It does not.
Okay. Okay.
Cool. Okay. So delete relabel configs. Delete all of that. We're just going to break
all
it
of
first. We're going to configure it broken.
Okay. And this is it right here. This all looks right. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
That's it.
Done.
Okay. Restart Prometheus.
Restart.
Yep. Okay. You see, it's not happy with something.
Cannot unmarshal the map.
Okay.
You sure this first one's not supposed to have a
put a dash. Put a dash. Maybe it just needs a dash. Who knows?
Come on, thing.
And then token needs to be along the same line. I don't know. YAML is confusing to me. So.
Yeah, it's interesting beast. Okay, that should do it. Yeah.
Yep. Let's see if it's happy. If it's not happy. All right. Okay, so let's go back to the Prometheus UI.
To the Prometheus UI. There it is.
Okay, go to status, targets. Okay.
So it's got.
You'll notice it did not take. Yes.
Right.
It basically did not take. Which does not help us. The joys of YAML. So I don't think it picked up. Yeah, I don't think it actually picked it up.
Yeah.
I think can you configure services and tags? And then maybe
services and tags. What do you mean by that?
Can you
like start formatting right? Okay. Yeah. Okay. What did you need me to change in here?
Can you underneath server and token, can you add another line that says services? Services, : and then can you hit enter?
I can. There won't be any. Okay.
And then do a list and then do a dash, right? Dash. And then API.
Yeah.
And then enter. No colon.
Yeah.
Yeah. API and then hit enter and then web. Dash web. Yeah, dash web. So you want a list of services, Okay. We're going to force it to scrape those two services.
This needs to have another one.
Quotes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those need quotes around it, blah, 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 the whole thing.
Oh, they do? Okay.
Yeah. Because YAML.
I know. Give me HCL here. I don't. Okay. Anyhow.
Yeah. That's fine. Okay. All right. Exit.
Oh, because this is how we're going to tell Consul, yo, we need these two services.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I don't think it's forced. I think the problem with Consul with the Prometheus config is that it's sort of like, I don't scrape anything. So it's just kind of questioning what it should be scraping.
Yeah. Okay. So back we go. And then maybe it's just taking a second. Well, at least that one's up, but I mean, you said it's supposed to be broken right now, right?
Well, it is. It isn't. Well, yeah, because it's not actually scraping anything. If you look at the logs, it probably can't access Consul either. So
right, because right now it's not set up to even talk to the servers. Is that what you would? Okay, yeah, because I knew you were going to have to do that, but I didn't know if that was what you were planning on showing.
Yeah, we're going to need to get it to talk to the servers.
So it is trying to access. It is trying to access the server on 8500 then.
Yes.
Which means this needs another ingress from. Yeah. Okay. I see. Okay, that's no problem. I'll just take a second. Server allow clients. Metrics. The D8500 from the. Wait. That was almost really bad there. Here we go. Metrics. HTTP from the metrics client. That should do it. Oh.
Yeah. This is when, did you believe me when I said metrics was going to be hard?
No, I didn't. That's why I was like, well, maybe we can do tracing. And you're like, no, probably not. Like, yeah, you're right. Because okay. So now that should be allowed. So is this thing smart enough? Is Prometheus smart enough to just keep trying?
There we are. You see that?
Yeah, connection timed out.
It timed out.
Okay.
Error retrieving data center name. So I think we have to specify the data center name.
Ah, that's right. Well, I say it like I knew it. I didn't know it, but
go back to the YAML. Go back to the YAML, the Prometheus YAML, and then there's a field underneath token that you can add called data center.
Oh, underneath, so it's nested under token.
No, it's not nested. It's the same level as token. It's just
okay.
Yeah, data center. Even Josie's displeased with this whole thing. Are you sure it's TC1? Did we name it TC1?
Yeah, we just left it default.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we don't need the quotes. I mean, but for the sake of consistency, I mean, we've already mixed up single quotes and double quotes in this config anyway, whatever.
Yeah.
We're reaching that point.
Yeah, we are. We reached that point a few miles back, but anyhow.
Okay. All right. I promise. Let's get this, and then I'll show you what some of the issues are. But let's get that restart Prometheus. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we didn't get the complaint this time. So what it's doing is it is reaching out to the Consul servers, hitting its catalog, right, grabbing those two services.
It'll take like 15 seconds, but you'll see.
But hey, this is new.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Okay, so show more.
Look at that.
Okay. All right.
Hey,
so you'll notice something.
Nice.
Yes, it did get the IPs, but
yeah.
Why do you think that this is? Yeah. So you'll notice the port is not right. Now, why is it picking up that port, right?
Because it doesn't like people. No, that's not it, right?
Yeah. Well, it's basically Prometheus is just adding 9090 onto it, right? By default.
Right. Yeah.
You need to set a port.
Okay. So back
The
we
problem,
go into that same file.
Yes. Yes. Back we go into the same file. We set the port.
That just a field here called port.
No.
Oh, okay.
This is why. All right. Remember that config that I sent you?
Yeah, this one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
You see that relabel config section?
Wow, really? Geez, this is a lot
Prometheus
just in terms of the port.
Prometheus has a function called relabel configs, right? And when it does the service discovery or the auto scraping, you need to substitute the new port in, right? The static port associated with it.
Okay.
So you can copy that relabel configs.
So question source labels. What, like, is this just when is this just what it's naming? Is this something console returns, or is this something that Prometheus is calling it before it goes to get it?
So the integration with Consul, or any integration with a service discovery target, there's something called meta labels in Prometheus. Meta labels are pre-integrated labels that retrieve certain pieces of information from these service discovery targets.
Yeah.
So meta underscore console underscore service underscore address is the same as when you go to the service catalog and you see the IP address.
Okay.
In Consul.
And this only exists because Consul has been made to work with Prometheus.
That's correct.
Okay. So in other words, what we're doing when we're writing this is we're assuming on the other side that Consul's written this integration is making this value available to us then.
Consul is making the value available because it's doing, I believe, the health or the service catalog API, one of the two. It's basically Prometheus, when you configured the server and the token and the data center, it's making an API call to Consul. So as long as it's available through the API, this field is valid. So the service address is available through the Consul API, so it is a valid meta label.
Okay. So we get to pick like a different value if we wanted to, if we needed to, and we needed to like switch something else.
You could do, let's say, like meta underscore console underscore address, which is the address of Consul itself, you know. So there are things that there are a limited number of meta labels you can use, like a subset of meta labels you can use.
Okay.
They only expose a certain small number of them. It's not like everything under the sun in Consul is available.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. That makes sense. I was trying to basically figure out whether or not this was something that it's just encountering when it goes to fetch, or if this is something that's been coded in, but that makes sense.
Yeah, it is.
All right. So we need this full thing here.
Yeah.
This is going to be at the level with console SD configs.
Yeah. Okay. So a couple of things to also talk about. Regular expression is basically taking the whole group, right? So what you're saying is that grab the source label from console service address. That is, I guess, like 10.255.1.205 or whatever it is. It's saying take that whole regular expression, that group, and put it into, you see the squiggle, $sign squiggle one squiggle. Put it into that string.
Right.
That string is representative of the address of Prometheus, right? Of the Prometheus endpoint, scraping endpoint. You could make it any string. You could say 9102 something, or you could like add something special to it if you really wanted to. But really, this is the simple replacement for the address.
And
the
this is what it's replacing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then the action is replace.
Yeah. I like how replacement kind of implies that it would be replaced, but that's cool.
Yeah, because there are many other ways that you could do relabel configs. There are a lot of reasons why you would do it. Anyway.
Yeah.
So now you can save this file.
Yeah. I'm doing the whole, you know, is there actually the same number of spaces between the edge of the file and relabel configs? Okay, there are. And now we do it. Yep. You should be able to go over. And then after a couple of seconds, it should just start working here in a bit. Well, there's one.
Unless the replace configs is wrong.
Yeah, it seems to think that we're just trying to send it to nothing here.
Maybe the meta labels didn't do a correct replacement. It is also very likely.
Yeah. Yeah. So something.
It used to work before.
That was the story of my entire earlier day.
Console setups, the relevant address. Maybe it's meta console address instead of service address. Can you try console meta console address instead? Because I don't know if it's picking up the node or it's picking up the service IP, which also could be very confusing.
Let's try it.
Because this was previously configured, I believe, for containers, which would also explain why it was service address. Yeah, it's console address.
Yes. Okay.
Woohoo.
So here in a couple seconds.
Are those even the right?
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Well, what's 217? That's
it's
the console
one that
server,
we haven't.
Right?
Yeah, it's the API v2 that we have not cleared or set up. We didn't set up but actually, if we just restart it, that should be it, right?
Yeah.
Just come over here. Then, as is tradition, I got to make sure that it is actually restarted. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, we're fine. Okay. All right.
So
it'll scrape in another 15 seconds. There you go. All right. So now you can go back to your graph. Now, the good news is you don't have to hard code all of your IP addresses into the scrape config.
Yes. Thank goodness. So if we go and we get that RQ requests here.
Yeah. XX.
And we can see it from the different.
Yeah, it restarted. So you notice there was some space of time in which it restarted. We could get, so now you see all of them.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
So that is metrics. It's not thorough. We didn't go through all of it. There are a lot of other things. We're not going to go through them because I think it might be brain explodey. But yeah.
Yeah. See it more as this is how you set it all up. And but in terms of using it, I don't even think it would be practical to think in one stream we could teach everything you could do with Prometheus expression. So
yes, it is it's very tedious to understand the nuances of queries and metrics and various things. And it takes a lot of time. So we're going to leave it at this.
Yeah. Real quick.
Yeah.
Just real quick, because we took like this path to get there. All we had to do is set up the metrics server, the same subnet, enable access to that server. In Consul itself, we made only a couple small configurations, right? We just on the server made it so that port 9102 is opened up. And then in the, well, wasn't that all we did? Yeah, because then we just restarted the Envoy clients after that. That was literally all we did. Yeah. And then we just set up the Prometheus config file, and that was it.
Yep.
Okay. Well, a lot of it then was just small mistakes here and there that added up. So cool. Yeah.
But it's not mistakes necessarily, right? This is the problem why people don't get that excited about setting up metrics, right? And people put it off because it is hard. It's not that easy. Even here, it's like if you didn't understand all of these things and you were just learning about service mesh and you were reading all these configs, it would take you a while to understand how to expose everything and get everything in. I will leave it to you as an exercise another day, but you can update your Prometheus config to scrape agent metrics, which is what we exposed on the client.
Yeah,
so
which is that's why our API is different from what we did in the V2 and in the web, because we added that extra set of metrics. But cool. But if you didn't do those, then literally all you have to do is change the bootstrap thing on the server and that's it. Cool.
Yeah. So just not the bootstrap thing. If you are doing this to an existing cluster, just update the proxy defaults to include Envoy Prometheus bind address. If you're using other metric servers, you will have to use a different bind address label. So keep that in mind. But for the most part, that will allow set a listener across your proxies.
Yeah.
And then after that, you can configure Prometheus to scrape those endpoints. I think we spent more time learning about Prometheus than we did about Consul.
Yeah. I see what you're saying there, Blurn. Yeah, I'm gonna need to take 5 here because it's always such an odd feeling when you're like, what did we do today? And I can like sum it up in like 3 steps. And it's like, oh man, and that took me like 2.5 hours. I feel like a bad person.
No, but the point is, it's hard. That's why not too many people enjoy it. Enjoy doing this. The first go around when you don't have that much information or you're not sure what how all of these pieces fit together. Forget about tracing. Tracing is like, that's why I was like, we will not do tracing in one session because it was just, this is already a lot. So